Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, bringing you walkthroughs and guides with positive vibes, and this time around we're going to be taking you through Protolife. Now this game is made by an indie developer, and it's only available on PC as far as I know, and you can get it on Steam. I got it on sale, and I think it's one of the coolest tower defense games I've ever played. Super cool execution. I really like games that give me a lot of flexibility in what I can do, and this game gives me all kinds of different options. It's just really cool. Really interesting concept. Never seen anything quite like it before, but really cool game. So, I've already played through the original campaign and New Game Plus multiple times, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm just going to be, I have all this stuff unlocked, but just ignore that, the fact that everything's unlocked. I'm going to be starting over at the beginning, taking you through each level one at a time, and showing you strategies for how to complete each level, and also just explaining how the game works as we progress. Now, quick note before we begin, is each one of these levels will have a tutorial explaining the new mechanics for each level. So right now, this is just a basic tutorial showing how to place blocks. So all you have to do is you simply move around with your dude using the arrow keys, and you press spacebar to place blocks, and you also pick them up throughout the level. So you have a certain number of blocks allocated that you have collected so far, you've accumulated over time, and you can place them however you want. The position of the blocks, or rather where you place them on the ground, will determine what type of tower you make. So this first tower is just a basic plasma tower, and it's the tier 1 tower. And you can place it either, so in this case those are facing down, but you can also face them diagonally. So depending on the position of the tower, you can then make them different shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter on this. Quick note as a comment too before we move on. You can press up and down to select which mission you want to do. Initially you only have this one unlocked. I have all of them unlocked because I've already completed the campaign, but I'll be doing them in order for you guys. Now, when you get to later ones, just a quick note before we dive in is that you can also press left and right to toggle between multiple tutorials. Some missions have more than one tutorial, and that is kind of important to know because some mechanics they talk about later, like if you don't know that you can move between the tutorials, you wouldn't know that that's even an option. Anyways, we're diving in with the first mission, which I believe is just called, well, actually I don't know that it has names, whatever. Mission 1, Blue Blocks is the tutorial name for this one. Okay, here we go. So, as an example, I can move around, press spacebar to place a block. The way I position them will determine which direction they're facing and stuff. You can press tab to see different towers. Right now it's saying a tier 1 plasma tower. You can press spacebar to see all forms. This shows you all the different shapes you can make. So in this case, for example, they're trying to get me to place one down here. And you can place more. You can also hold down Alt at any time to see all of the areas that are the range of all the towers that you currently have. So I'm going to place a couple more towers real quick. This is the tutorial mission, so it's super easy. But I did just want to explain some mechanics real quick before we move on. So if you look down here in the bottom left, you can see the number of blocks I have. You can pick up more blocks in the mission. This particular mission just has a stagnant amount of blocks. There's not very many. However, a lot of them have like generators that are making blocks all the time. Also, you can kill enemies and they drop yellow blocks, which are worth 0.5, so they're half. So if you get 2 yellow blocks, they will accumulate here. Now blocks will also heal you, just so you know. So you can, if you take damage, you can pick up blocks in order to heal yourself. But you can pick up any already placed blocks and reposition them. So if I decide I want to do something like that, or like, oh, it's not facing the right way anymore, I can move it forward. Now as far as placing blocks, you can just press spacebar each time. Another thing you can do is hold it. I particularly like these diagonal ones because I can hold it and move over, and it'll place the tower right away. It's just so much faster to be able to just hold spacebar and move. So especially bigger towers, if everything's in a line anyways, I really like holding spacebar the entire time. But just so you know, you can queue up commands. So you can press like left spacebar, for example, and before your character is even finished moving, and then your character will follow those commands. So you can queue up a bunch of commands in a row is something you can do. By the way, quick note about this game too, if you're experiencing frame rate loss, like the game is playing really, really slow, that's because your frame rate on your display, it's limited by your display frame rate. So 60 frames is the normal speed. So if you're playing on like a high hertz monitor where you have it like cranked up to like 120 hertz or more, you could have it where the game is just like zipping by super, super fast. Just a quick note about that. But yeah, this game's cool. All right, moving on to mission 2. So they're explaining that here we have, these are buildings that when destroyed will then spawn worms. The worms need to be defeated as well, otherwise they will head straight for your core. The AI in this game is pretty simple. They tend to just come straight at you. Okay, I was just making sure these guys weren't coming from my base. So what I'm going to do is just place a bunch of defenses for now. The next thing to know about this game too is that there is we have a sleep phase and a growth phase. During growth phase, the infection will spread, and if there's buildings in set locations, like for example, you notice that building I just killed. After I killed it, a worm appeared. I killed the worm, it's gone. Like that's all well and good, like not a big deal. but just know that if the infection spreads again and it reacquires this location, then a building will appear right where it was before, so I'd have to destroy it all over again. That's important to know because you can get into this awkward position where, so like right there, I walked into it on purpose, that hurt me, and then I'm picking up a block to heal. So let's make a whole bunch of defenses facing this way. And like I was explaining before, you can suck all these up. If I keep holding spacebar, I can just keep walking over all these, which is a nice thing. So let's just suck up all these resources. I have way more resources than I need for this particular mission. I'm not worried about it at all, but just explaining the concept. Generally speaking, I find it's best to steadily move forward like this. So you have a line of defenses, and then you steadily work your way forward. I think I'll just finish this mission. There's not really particular reason to show the rest of this. You can kill it before the next growth phase starts. So you do something like that, for example. So this is a tower right there, and this is another tower facing diagonally. As long as they're far enough apart, like if I put this block inside of this one, it probably would break, because then they're too close to each other, they're touching. In this case, this diagonal one is fine. It might break it a little bit, like if I place this, it might try to start shooting up, for example, temporarily, and it changes the shape of the tower. That is something to know, like if some of these towers break because enemies run into them, then it could change the shape of your tower temporarily. Okay, mission number 3. So they're showing, in this case, this is a new type of tower called spawners. These will make enemies at night. So during growth phase, while the infection is spreading, then those buildings will also create a bunch of guys, then it sends a flood of enemies towards your core. Now, this particular type can only be killed by using tier 2 towers. You do that by placing a crystal inside a tier 1 tower. So if you had a diagonal one like, well actually I can show inside the mission. If you have a diagonal tower, where say it's pointing down like this, 1, 2, 3, you put the crystal in the top left corner, and it would shoot downwards. A quick note about this, when you add a crystal, what it does is it will narrows the range. It makes it shoot a little bit further, but it doesn't shoot as wide. But now it also shoots a little bit slower, and it does splash damage, and it also cuts through armor, which is why it can destroy this particular one. So you can see it right here, actually. Armor penetration 2, splash damage 2. The range is increased a little bit, has a little bit longer cooldown, and it does more damage. So instead of 1 damage, it does 3 damage, which is great. Crystals are kind of expensive to manufacture, so it does take a lot of blocks to make them, but it does make your towers significantly more powerful. I would encourage you, if you are going to be moving forward, to try and bring a crystal with you, because a lot of buildings like this are invulnerable, and if you don't kill them in time while sleep phase is still active, you could end up having a whole bunch of towers that just suddenly kill you as soon as you... Yeah, anyways, you try and push forward during sleep phase, growth phase happens, and you hunker down and get defensive. But you might want to bring a crystal with you. Okay, so let's make some stuff. So as a quick example, like we could be like, quick, or actually here's a great example. They already have this here. So I'll put that there. Notice how the range got super narrow. I'm going to build something here just to contain the infection real quick. Boom. And it's done. Like I'm already done with this mission, basically. Is that going to kill it all? Yeah, it did. That was too fast. I feel like I should redo that to show it again. Because I didn't... Oh yeah, by the way, here's those other tutorials. So they're showing here how these guys will steadily spawn and they'll kill the buildings. I forgot to show the additional tutorials. This is showing these guys, what are they called? Spawner life forms. Whatever. Quick note about them, they only have 1 HP and they have 1 armor. They die really fast and easily. One quick note about this is that each block is worth 1 health. So these guys have 1 health. Actually, it might be 1 health, 1 armor. Maybe that's why. Maybe they destroy 2 of them. Because it's 1 to get through the armor, 1 to go through the health. I'm not sure. Whatever. I think that's how that works. I'm not sure if it's breaking 2 blocks here in this example because it just is touching both of them, so that happens to destroy them both. But just so you know, each point of health equals 1 point of health for the enemy. So like, for example, if you had an enemy that had 3 health and it gets shot twice with a tier 1 tower, then it hits a block, only 1 block will be destroyed because the enemy only has 1 health remaining. Now, one of the reasons why that's important to note is you can do things like hitting it with your body to kill them. If they're like, you're like, oh no, it's going to destroy my towers. You can run into it with your character on purpose, but just know you only have, whatever it is, 20 health normally. And a block will restore 2 health, I think, when you pick it up, something like that. Anyways, just know that, like, all the health equals a certain amount. Okay, I'm going to start this mission again and do it a little bit slower, just so that I can show. Let's let this spawn a little bit on purpose. I'm going to totally rein this in, though. Yeah, it's freaking out because it wants me to place this. So a couple notes about this, like we're going to go ahead and let that die real quick. But I'm just going to contain the infection and let the sleep phase end, so you can see growth phase. One of the things I want to show is the fact that that building will respawn once growth phase happens. So if the infection gets far enough, there's like set buildings in particular locations where it's like preset, like there's a building here, 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 and here, 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 whatever. And so those will appear if there's enough infection there. Ideally what you want to do is you want to create enough buildings that it will contain the infection, but to keep it from spreading. So you want to have enough, like in this case, you can see my range, like I'm keeping it all contained. As far as how much buildings you need, I would encourage you, like something like this is pretty safe. Like this will probably kill anything that gets down here. By the way, the speed of the growth will change depending on the mission. Different missions have different speeds, so that can be very different. All these buildings around here, these can be turned into defenses later too, but otherwise if you're not using them, you can suck them up too. Those are just extra blocks that you're not using. Just so you know, these spawners here that are making resources, they're making blocks occasionally. They do cap out at a certain point. So you do want to make sure you pick them up before they get too full. So like there's that building again. But yeah, we have a whole ton of crystals. So usually what I'll do is I'll do something like this. Keep one with me, and then make some more to contain the infection. But you can do the same thing with like 2. Just like that, he destroyed that. I could have, if I was trying to get in the way and body block it. I forgot about that. Those buildings spawn dudes when they blow up. That was my fault. But yeah, you get the idea. I don't think there's any like super good score or anything that doesn't keep track of it. I don't think it matters. Whatever you want to do. Okay, mission number 4, barriers. We have a new building. I'm just going to call them walls, whatever. But so these guys have 10 HP. So something worth noting about these, though, is as far as a trick is, so when you have just one block by itself, or one block as part of a tower, it only has 1 health. But when you have them in a block like this, they have 10 health. Let's see, how many guys is this here anyway? I'm going to count them this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see, they got through it a little bit more. I don't know, it's almost like they're doing... Again, I think what's happening is when they touch 2 blocks at the same time, it does damage to both of them. I'm not sure. Regardless, anyways, quick comment about this. Notice how there's like 10 guys coming through here, and they destroy the wall after a little bit. What you can do is you just walk over here and suck up one of the blocks and replace it, and what it'll do is it will replenish the health. It refreshes the wall and brings it back up to full health. So if you have a couple walls that are taking the brunt of the damage like this, like ideally what happens is you have towers whittling them down. So if one of them gets through and hits a wall, that's fine. Strategically placed walls are very powerful, and especially because, like, remember what I was saying before, that each one of these guys has like 1 or 2 health, whatever it is. If you have an enemy that has, like, say, 5 health, a wall will kill it, because the wall has 10 health, it's like boom, and it destroys it, and then all you have to do is just suck up those blocks again. You don't lose any resources. Make sense? So if some enemies hit the wall, you suck up a block, you place it again, the wall gets rebuilt instantaneously, and it's refreshed to full health. So anyways, point being, if you are facing a bunch of little guys, like little guys is what you're dealing with, and you have one big guy in the middle of that army, and you're like, oh no, that's a big threat, you can run forward, and rather than bonking into it with yourself and killing yourself, you can place a quick wall like this, and let it walk into it, it'll die, and then in the meantime, then you just suck up the blocks again and walk away. So you can either take them with you, or you can pick up a block and replace it again to refresh the wall, to replenish its health, so that it doesn't die. Okay, so that's just a quick explanation of how that works. Walls are cool, but just know you can use walls offensively too, and that works really, really well. But just note that any walls that are taking the brunt of the attacks, you do want to refresh their health every once in a while. Okay, barrier mission. Here we go. Protect the base. I'm going to get rid of all this. We don't need any of this right now. Boom, boom. Let's go like this. Let's just get some defenses going. That's pretty good. There we go. Good enough. There is some more stuff over here. I think this is all pretty straightforward too. Okay. Let's get this going. Now note that the range on this, in fact I'll just block that with my body, whatever. So quick note about this, I'm all the way back here. This is, I just already know the shape of this mission, so I'm already good to go. But I don't think enemies even go this direction. Enemies typically only go one way. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to the back, and I'm doing this primarily actually to keep this infection from spreading north, because as long as I have access to, if this gets covered in infection, then I don't get any resources from it. So I can just leave that there, that's fine. That'll keep all the infection contained over there. So notice what I did there is I placed enough defenses here that I didn't have to worry about it. It's a little making me a little bit nervous though. Let's do like this. There we go. That's good enough. Another quick note about this. So notice the path that the enemies are taking. They kind of go like this, and they're probably going to go right through the middle, and they go straight to the core. So one of the things to note about that, especially if you're killing little guys like this, is you can do stuff like this. Like, look how aggressive that is, but it doesn't matter. And that is totally a viable strategy. It's just as far as, like, killing enemies on the path before they ever get to you. Also, a quick note is, like, this is a little bit risky because, like, if you look at the path of this tower, it's kind of hard to see right now. This tower is attacking like this. If there is infection down here, then it'll spread over and it'll start destroying all these blocks. Now I have way more than enough resources. This is not a threat at all, so I'm totally fine. But you'll notice too, so that, like, going back to what I was saying before, notice how I sucked up all these blocks at the very beginning. And the reason I did that is because I didn't need them to defend here. This would be worthless to have them here. If I wanted to place defenses here, probably something like this would be good enough, because the enemies tend to go right through the middle. If I really want to be protected, I can do that again. One of the reasons why this is cool too, if you do something like this, I think, let's see. Nope, never mind. That didn't quite do it. I was hoping it would. It's prioritizing left side. What I was going to say is that maybe if this breaks, then it'll immediately turn into walls again behind it, but that's not true apparently. So I guess still something like this would be the smartest, I guess. But yeah, this is a really solid defense that isn't going to die. The only hesitation here is that I want to make sure a couple things. Like, this is a little weird. If they're all facing towards the middle, what I'm trying to do is make sure that if they come through here, that it kills all this stuff really, really well. And I just want to make sure I have enough overlap that they're killing any infection that's coming this way at all. But I feel like this, for example, is a super solid defense. That's way more than enough. One of the reasons why I point that out is to explain that, like, I don't need that many resources to do it. Like, honestly, even just 3 of these is probably more than enough. As far as the shape, this is a pretty safe thing. I was just explaining that concept of sending them into a funnel is why I was showing this method, but probably something more effective overall would be doing it forward, just overall. You can double them up like that. Another thing you can do too is you can do something like this. As far as a different shape, works pretty good. Just out of curiosity, let's just see if this works. Yeah, okay. So, like, there's a pretty good shape too, for example. I'll get rid of these so you don't see as many auras. It isn't as confusing looking. Let's see, there's 3 of them right there. They're all facing towards the middle. So this is a pretty, like, that's a pretty solid defense right there too. So as far as something easy, like if you're trying to really quickly throw something down, I realize I'm going way in depth to this. Like, that's pretty solid, and you can do the same thing again. So you could be like, boom. Okay, so how many blocks did I use there? I have 6, 12, 18 blocks. I feel like, look how much firepower that is. That's a ton. I clearly do not need that much down here, though. Just as a comment. Like, there's already enough overlap to kill any infection that could possibly go down there. This is kind of risky, keeping this here, because if infection does get down here... I mean, I'm fine because I have more than enough overlap. I'm not worried about it. But as a comment, if infection touches this, it'll destroy my crystal, and that's bad. Do like that, whatever. Even though it's in the middle growth phase, doesn't matter. There's no spawners or anything. Like, I feel totally safe. I'm pretty lazy about... I like doing these, especially. Like, that was risky because it was close to it. I wasn't worried about it because this guy was right there. Like, it's pretty good. Boom, there you go. Not a problem. Now, I totally took my time with this particular mission. Another quick note is, notice, this is what I was talking about earlier, they're full on resources up here, so I was wasting potential resources over time by not collecting them. So if I had made a quick run through here, and like I would have even though there's infection right here, I might have even walked over it. You slow down when you're touching it, but I could have walked through it and it would hurt me and stuff, and then walk up here. These would heal me as soon as I collect them anyways, just like boom, and then come back around, and I'd be ready to go again. But you can decide whichever direction you want to go, but doing stuff like that, just keeping the infection contained, which is what I did at the very beginning. I just like put enough defenses here that I didn't have to worry about it for a second, and then I ran away. I sucked up all the blocks here, ran around, and then got this so that I had this. You wouldn't have known that you've had access. This was all in Fog of War. I was in Gray before, but because I've already played this mission before, I already know this. Okay, so next we have a tier 1 tower. It's the same thing, but it's called a duo tower. So what this does is you just add 2 more blocks to it, and it will make it so that it shoots 2 different... It's the same thing. So 1 damage, 10 range. Has pretty good range, honestly, in general, but that same wide arc, it has less cooldown. I think it shoots a little bit faster than a regular T1 tower, but it has double the shots, which is great. Now notice for this one too that the severity is getting a little bit more intense. I think this means how much infection there is, but notice too that we have a very short sleep phase. It's only 30 seconds. Meanwhile, growth phase is a minute. So we're going to be defending a lot longer, and we don't have much time to push forward. Okay, so let's suck all these up. I don't want these. I probably should prioritize those later. Let's get these going. You jerk, come here. I don't want him to hit that crystal. That's what I was worried about. That was what I was saying you jerk about. But yeah, this is another one of those examples of those towers that I can build really fast that I like. Just like, oh man, look at that. It's just so good. There we go. So there I overlapped them a little bit, so you can see there's a tower here, another tower there. So you can have them touching, but try to have them touching on corners would be my recommendation. Now, a quick note about this particular mission is we only have one crystal, and we need to make sure that we... Also, like, check this out. So, like, do something like that, or like this. It's pretty good. Again, like, I'm destroying them before, like, I'm in their zone, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm down here with them, and it's fine. As long as, because here's the thing. Their path of moving is, like, right through here. So as long as I have towers that aren't, like, where they're currently walking. So, like, this is kind of a weird thing. I know that looks strange. It's not very accurate, though, because it's aiming this way and they're going diagonally the other direction, so that's bad. But just note that, like, this tower, right, there's way too many auras, so you can't see what's going on. This tower will totally keep the infection back. So I'm not worried about this one getting touched. Also, here's the yellow blocks I was talking about earlier. So look at the bottom left corner. Yep, 0.5 of a block. Then we get another whole block. Boom. This is showing how long this phase is, by the way. Notice this. We only have one crystal. So if this crystal dies, we are dead. So you cannot lose this crystal. But this is the only way to destroy these buildings. So a tier 2 regular tower. And then remember that these are spawners. They make guys when they blow up. That actually was kind of risky. Let's get some splash damage in there. Nice. So that was more than enough splash damage. If the infection spreads too far during the day, or yeah, during the night, then what'll happen is I'll have to they'll remake all these buildings again. So if I wanted to, I could, like, oh no, and I could kill some of these guys with my body, and then I could heal with the blocks that they leave behind. So you can do stuff like that pretty well. Okay, let's do like this. Some of these buildings, like these buildings, I think will just die on their own. They spawn guys. Ugh. Ow, those guys hurt a lot. So see, here's an example of what I was talking about before. Boom. Oh, I killed the block. Okay, those guys definitely do a lot of damage. I'm gonna go heal. Now, that building, these circle buildings, can apparently be killed with regular towers. You don't need a crystal for that. You do need a crystal for this, apparently. Those defenses up there I'm pretty happy with. Like, whatever, it's fine. Do something like that. But see, my playstyle with this game is I'm taking this really slow. If I was really rushing, I could do this a lot faster. I'm doing this on purpose right now. But if I tend to be pretty lazy with it, as my personal opinion is, I'm just like, I'll just play some defenses and I'll move forward later. I'm not trying to optimize it as much as possible. Like, this is super solid defenses, and like an example of this too, we could suck up all these now. I'm too far back. No, they're probably not going to hit anything. Oops. Notice that too. These guys take, I'm not sure how much health these guys have, but it's taking more than one shot of this. I think this does 3 damage, right? Does 3 damage splash, armor piercing? 2 armor piercing, 3 damage. Actually, you know what? Previous mission. Okay, it's just explaining the hordes, the guys. Danger! Duo, okay. Was there an explanation? Nope, there's no other tutorials about that particular enemy type. Oh well. Synthesis! You can now create crystals. So just make a wall of blocks, and what'll happen is it will create a crystal after a little while. So now you can make them whenever you want. They are kind of expensive, so only do this both when you have time. What I would encourage you to do is try to queue up commands. Like you start doing this, and then run away and do something else, and then come back and pick up the crystal, and then take it wherever you want to go. Like you can, like for example, you know how they already have this tower right here? You can place the crystal, then go build this tower, then walk back and grab the crystal, and then go put it here. Like that. So plan out what you're going to do a little bit just if you try to plan out a little bit ahead of time, you can optimize your place time so that you're not... Ideally, you don't want any blocks like sitting in your accumulated storage. If you have a bunch of blocks sitting there and you're not doing anything with them, you're either doing something wrong or you're doing really well, I guess. But I would encourage you to, like, don't worry about... There's no time limit on most of these missions or anything, so you can totally wait. If you're not sure about what to do, you can totally just wait and accumulate more stuff over time. Some missions do get harder over the course of the mission, though, so the enemies get more and more extreme. A lot of the campaign is really simple, though. You don't have to worry about that. But just know, especially when playing in experiments, things will get worse over time, so you do need to rush on some missions. Anyways, this one's fine, though. This looks pretty easy. We have a whole bunch of sleep time and a bunch of growth time. Looks pretty good. Stop. So I don't want to build that back there because it's too far away, for one thing. Another crystal building up front. That's fine. Complete the form. No. I don't want to. Okay. Oops. Ow. I lost one block, I don't care. There we go. Like, that's super solid defenses. Like, oops. You know, I only need crystals to break the buildings, right? At least for now. Like, look how many blocks I have. I don't know, like, that's what I just did is a super solid defense. I'm contained right now. Growth phase is going to end here in a little bit. I can assess what I want to do. Duo towers are still, like, one of the best things ever. I should get more crystals going on. Just get all the resources here. Life's good. And again, remember what I was saying that... nope, that's not going to work. There you go. Okay. What you going to do about it? Okay. As long as... Remember that the guys tend to go through the middle. Like, for example, another weird strategy is something like this. That totally works. A quick comment about this, too, how this works is you have, like, there's walls like this that are super big, or they're thicker, and then there's thinner walls. Thinner walls you can shoot over, but you can't, these will block your shots. So notice how my shots are getting blocked by this wall right here. So I did plan this out on purpose. I was doing this as defenses that can kill this stuff. Normally I would face this the other way, so it's facing down here. But I think in this case that's actually pretty cool. It allows me to, like a couple of things this does. This allows me to get rid of infection right here because the shots back here can only reach so far forward. I don't know, it's just neat. My main reason for having this right here actually is to move the infection back over here. And it's cheap, like it didn't cost that many resources. It cost 9, well 8, I guess, 8 to make a crystal. I'll go ahead and make another crystal now. But notice how this, like I'm gonna go get these resources. Before I did that, I went ahead and placed a crystal ahead of time. Right now we only have tier 1 crystals, towers. Or tier 2, I guess is what they call these technically. Whatever. Okay. I kind of want to get rid of left side first. You know, let's do this. I like these towers. There you go. Boom. What you gonna do about it? Like that's a super solid defense. Except for that. It's only a problem because one of the buildings broke. But again, like, you know, all you gotta do is do something like this. Look at that. So there's 2 reasons for that. One is it gets rid of the stuff on the bottom right, too. Okay, let's go ahead and... Actually, we'll use this guy. Now, I'm not too worried about my resources, like... Let's go ahead and kill it. Actually, let's move it up here, so that when it explodes, I don't have to worry about it dying. Oh, never mind. I thought stuff was going to spawn. All the buildings are like circles. You know, I get them all confused. It's still sleep phase, so I can be really aggressive and get close because I'm not worried about the infection suddenly spreading and blowing up my buildings. I'm getting low on resources, but I'm going to suck all these up here in a little while anyway, so like whatever. There you go. Okay, so that's all great. If you can keep these areas clean, then what happens is, like, this will keep making resources over here. I don't need any of this anymore. So, like, notice right now I'm holding a crystal, but I'm still holding... Alright, yeah. I picked up the crystal, then while standing over a block, I hit spacebar to start sucking up. So, I got all this stuff. So if you wanted to, you could totally get resources like this. I think the cap... Actually, I don't know how many blocks you can have. I know we've had like over 100. I'm not actually sure what the limit is. Let's do like that. Temporarily. I don't really want them to keep hitting my guys, but these guys only have 1 health anyway. But yeah, here's what I was talking about earlier. So I can destroy this, put it back, boom, now that's already restored to 10 life. There is no downside, I think, to letting them hit a wall, as far as I know. Like, you still get the resources. If they drop something, it'll still appear right in front of them, I think. So I don't think it matters. Like, as far as not getting yellow blocks, is what I was referring to with that. The half blocks. I think you still get them even if they hit a wall or something, as opposed to being attacked by a tower. So I think it's fine. Alright, so that's all good. I'm not sure why that building died. It was way over to the left and it died for some reason. I didn't hit it or anything. Alright. I guess there's no reason for me to kill that. I should have just left it. Boom. I like doing these diagonal ones, mainly because they're so easy to build. I can do stuff like this, like just alternate. Like, what you gonna do about it? Nope. Alright, crystal. So, notice this. If I can kill this before the next sleep phase starts, actually a couple things. Let's go ahead and build a wall there. So when they do break, if it spawns guys, they'll hit the wall. Looks like it's fine. Boom, I win. Okay. Good time. Alright, next mission. Duos. No, I think this is going to show... Oh yeah, Flamer Tower. Alright, that's fine. So, this one is like a tier 2... Or a duo tier 1. If you just throw a crystal in front instead, it makes it a flamer of the back. So a flamer will do 2 things. It removes infection really, really fast. It has very short range, does great AoE damage, and it has armor penetration. The damage on it is very low. However, it ticks for a while, and they're taking fire damage over time. Now, one of the best things, in my opinion, for how to use flamers is ideally what you want to do is 2 things. It's really good at killing buildings. It's good at killing infection. And it's good at doing a lot of damage, but it does damage over time. Unfortunately, its range is very short, and its cooldown is kind of long. So one of the things you want to do is, remember how I was saying how a lot of enemies will follow a strict path, and you can have towers along the side, like whittling them down as they're traveling along that path? Flamers are amazing for that. So as 2 quick comments, if you can bring a crystal with you to like steadily work your way forward, if you can place a flamer real quick and then like walk somewhere else, then it will destroy a lot of infection because the fire spreads and it goes pretty far. And then likewise, if you can do it on enemies, even if they have a bunch of armor, you can destroy them really well. So, here we go. Sleep. I think everything else is fine. There's no other tutorials or anything. Okay, so we got a flamer already. Pretty sure this mission... Oh, they're already coming this way. Okay. Oh yeah, so we can show this again. So when you press tab, you can look at the different towers. So it's showing tier 1, tier 2. There's regular duo towers. If you add a crystal to a duo tower, then it will become a flamer. And you can build it in different directions as well. So one of my easiest ones, I think, is to make this guy. Just as far as... Like, it's faster. It doesn't take much time. But notice that it'll just destroy everything. Like, yeah. Nope. Not broken. Okay, good times. Life is good. But notice this too, the frame spreads, I think. So you hit one of those guys and it's just like, nope. Never mind. Maybe it was because the infection was on fire. Maybe that's what that was. That's why that was so good. Notice that we only have a limited amount of resources for this map. Well, that's not entirely true. I guess the rest of the blocks are down here. So we want to clear out these spawners so that we have resources. Or generators? I don't know what you call these. The plants. By the way, I think this game is supposed to be a reference to like, it's called Protolife. I think it's the point. I think the point is it's supposed to be where like little bacteria or something. I don't know. So you can either use flamers to blow up buildings like this, or you can make a tier 1 tower, like so, you know. particular reason to make that tower there. I just felt like it, but... Yeah. Now guys will keep spawning for a little... Or rather, they were spawning, now they're done. But let's do something like this. We can be like... Turn this into a flamer. Bam! There you go. Flamethrower, rather. See, I think like that's a perfect example of when to use it. It's so strong. As long as we're waiting. Oops. Move the defense forward. I'll just go ahead and walk through here, like whatever. So boom, 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 boom. Go ahead and blow up that last little bit. Kill it, kill it, kill it with fire. That's not gonna work. Whatever. Good enough. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Oops. Nope. Wait. Did that wrong. It's like this. There you go. That's what I wanted. So there, notice I body blocked right there to kill it. There we go. That's good enough. It's like that wall. Like I wouldn't. Yeah, I guess something I want to comment about with walls is it's like it is a defensive structure, but don't be afraid to like you're making a wall like you're making this right here, and you're like, oh no, a guy's about to come. Like you can body block it, and that's fine. But it might be better to just do that temporarily. It bonks into it, the thing's still alive, and then just go like that and turn it back into a tower, and it keeps destroying infection. Now, one of the reasons why that's important to note is because like. You need to keep pushing infection back, because if it keeps growing, then it will steadily overwhelm you, and infection's bad. Like, because the deal is, like, it's, you know, infection, you're like, oh no, I just can't walk there, but the problem is it starts making spawners. So, like, if you let it get out of control, it gets really bad. So it can become a huge problem. Oops, yeah, wrong way. Right, it's to the front. To the front. There we go. Burn. Yes. Alright. Next level. Okay, so here we have a harvester. So, pretty simple building, nothing really to say about it. Like, you just make two lines. You can have it facing either direction, either up or down. Does not have a diagonal version of it. Place a single crystal in the middle, and it will just gather stuff in an area around it. It doesn't show the range on it. I think it's something like this, the big circle. About like that. So it probably can't reach this block, for example. Other things they're noting, we have a worm. Oh yeah, just the big ones are finally showing it here. I don't know why they're showing it now. 10 HP. Wow, it has a lot of health. This guy's only does 1 damage, so that's why that didn't do it very good. It doesn't have any armor. Just a quick note about that. It just has a lot of health. So, with a crystal in this, a tier 2 tower, I guess it would be 3 hits plus 1, so you could have like one of those attacks plus something else. This will destroy a wall by itself, but like I was saying before, I think... Oh, actually, wait. It does 10 damage. Never mind. It'll kill a wall regardless. I was going to say that if it had less health, then the wall would survive, but I guess that's not entirely true. Oops. Life forms. Okay, same. That's it. Alright, here we go. I don't even know what mission we're on. What number? Okay, blow this up as soon as possible. This might be a little bit rough because we have... Those are going to spawn guys, probably. Okay, nice. Okay, good enough. I want to blow this up as soon as possible because I want to make sure this infection... Well, actually, whatever. I'll leave that there. That's fine. Wait, what just happened? Did I lose stuff? Yeah, because stuff spawned down here. That's fine. Because I blew up a building. I was concentrating on up there. So 2 duos. Let's go ahead and do a second one. Second row of duos. Resources. I don't know. Quick. I don't know. Just move that down so I'm closer. That's probably good enough for right now. So I can think about other things. So like all this, I don't need any of this. Why? Why would you even do that? Okay, can I make this... I think I can make this a little bit closer so that I can get all this stuff. It's probably pretty close. So like I don't need any of this, so I saved resources. Quick note about that is I might... So we can do like that. Here we go. Okay, so we have lots of gems. Life is good. Unfortunately, we only have tier... I guess I keep calling it tier 2s. I think that's confusing. I don't know. The way they label these things is a little bit weird. Like, I would call it, like, tier 1 plus is this or something. You know what I mean? Is what I would call it. Because it's the same thing. It just has this. They call it tier 2, though. I think that's a little bit confusing. Because, like, this is a duo, right? So you have single duo is what I would call it. And then this is... Well, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Single tier 2 versus we don't have a duo tier 2 yet. So I could do this, but I can't do this with crystals yet. But anyways, so what am I going to do now? So let's go like this. I can't, like, reach through these walls to grab these guys, but I can do this. Now I'm getting all those resources. But yeah, look, I'm just collecting all the stuff automatically. Now my range on... I'm holding down Alt right now, by the way. I can't quite reach this single block, but I don't think it's worth building an entire another one of these. Like, it's too many resources. It's like, so what? I lost one block. Who cares? But if I move it over and suck it up and then move it back here so I can get both spots at the same time, then this will... Eventually it'll spawn one here and I'll have the same problem I had before. But anyways, I think one building here and then saving all the resources to get over here sooner is way superior than trying to have one collection building here, one collection building like over here or something. Makes a lot more sense. Anyways, we got all the collection-y stuff. Great. Life is good. Sleep phase is going to end. I should have been building. That's what I should have been doing there. I was just wanted to talk about it. There we go. It's making me a little bit nervous. That's a lot of guys. I think it's fine, though. My flamer should be closer. I guess, well, actually, what I could do, just do this. Boom. And then I could go like that. Boom. There you go. I just changed them, changed shapes. Which is actually pretty cool. Like, I can do, like, just keep doing this. No, I can't. It's taking this and making it part of the one right below it. See, one thing that's sort of sad about not having blocks, like where I can grab them, is that I can't heal right now. That's probably smarter. Like, flamer over here is good, because they're going through middle. That's what's happening. You can leave blocks like here pretty aggressive. That's fine, just want to make sure you refresh it every once in a while. So yeah, I'm taking this playthrough kind of slow on purpose, because I just want to, like, talk about stuff and explain mechanics to you guys. But I could totally do this a little bit more aggressively. I just want to make sure I'm not moving too fast to the point where you're not sure what's going on, you know? If I'm not explaining things well, that's not good for a walkthrough, you know? These guys, for example, here will, when I destroy these buildings, all the guys will follow the normal path, so they will continue on towards my base. What they're doing is they're heading towards my core, which is up here. So they'll go along the middle, so like there. Instead of them coming over here towards these buildings I just created, they're heading up towards my defense. So as long as you kind of make stuff like off to one side on purpose like this, you can easily defeat them and it's not a big problem at all. I do not speedrun this game or anything. I honestly, like, I just like, it makes me think. I just think this game's super fascinating. Just a second. I have an alarm because I usually hang out with friends around this time of day. I don't think it's going to happen today, though, so I'm just going to ignore it. But anyways, my phone was going off in the background. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's see here. So now we have Duo Tier 2s, I think is what this is called. That doesn't actually say it in here. Anyways, so let's see. So they do 2 times 4. Oh, they do 4 damage. Wow. So instead of a Tier 1, or yeah, Tier 2 does 3 damage splash. This one does 4 damage. That's pretty cool, I think, is what it's saying. And it does 1 splash, that's the same. Range is 13, that's the same. Cooldown is 2. I think that the cooldown is... Oh, I see, yeah. So it does 4 damage, 2 shots each, right? It goes poo-poo. Does it in a volley. And then it has a long delay. It shoots 2 more shots again. But yeah, lots of damage. So it does, whatever, a total of 16 damage if it's all fighting the same target, which is amazing. And lots of splash damage on top of that. Decent range, and it has... armor penetration, which is great. But yeah, it takes 2 crystals. Pretty straightforward. Next tutorial. Sentinel life form. Oh yeah, these things are annoying. So these guys are different. Unlike following like regular stuff, these prioritize blocks and stuff like that. These will just hang out in the infection. If you get close, or if you have blocks close, they hate you. Sometimes these glitch out and they'll just hang out in one spot and they won't move. You just make a block real quick, and they'll get real mad and they'll attack them. One thing to note about these guys: sometimes you can like create them though, and you'll have some that just appear behind. So if your defenses are kind of weird, sometimes you can get it to the point where you're making, like over time, you're making a whole bunch of these stupid things. You end up with a cluster of like 20 of them, and they all come at you at once, and that can be kind of rough. But these guys are really annoying because these guys can sneak around behind and destroy your defenses from the side. So just be careful with stuff like this. Usually you're only dealing with these when you're either killing very specific enemies, or if you are... oh, what's the word? Yeah, if you're pushing forward. If you're pushing forward and destroying buildings, then they'll do that. But yeah, these guys spawn them all the time. You want to make sure you kill them and stop them from spawning again. Dun, dun, dun. Get rid of these real quick. Actually, let's wait. Let's refresh forward. Okay, let's make some defenses. Some duos. Like that. I'll just do this for now. I'm going to go ahead and run into these guys on purpose, just to keep them contained. Should die. Not. Whatever. So they're attacking that building. I don't care. I'm just trying to keep them contained for right now. I just want to assess here in a little bit. So, do like this. Go ahead and kill this guy. Whatever. I'll just do this for right now. I just want to make sure that everything stays contained. I'll look back more at it later. You know what? Actually, let's do like this. Let's go like... There we go. So now I have some... Notice too, like what I was saying before, like the range on these towers is the same range as these guys. They shoot narrower. They have a narrower beam. Like actually you can see it right here too. Look how narrow it is. They don't attack very wide at all. Regular towers have a pretty wide attack. These ones are more narrow, but they shoot further. And they do splash and they hit really hard. I think the projectiles move a little faster too. Anyways, I'll go ahead and destroy all these walls because I don't need them. Let's go ahead and make a make one more crystal, and I'll make a resource gathering duper over here. No reason to break those. I'm just doing it for fun. By the way, looks like everything's good. My defenses aren't hurting. So what I'm thinking I want to do is I'll work my way over here on the bottom. It is night, but whatever. I mean, my only concern is these yellow guys, basically. Yeah, so she totally hit that. That's sad. Hit him with my body. Like, whatever. I'm about to get these blocks here in the middle in a little bit anyways. As long as I'm waiting for those, I'll go ahead and suck these up. I need a crystal to break that. Wait, what just happened? Jerk, jerk, jerk. Go away. Alright, fine. Fine. I don't really want to mess with this right now. How many guys appear from that? None. You know what? I wasn't going to do this right now. But... I didn't check how much health these guys have. Refresh it. Refresh it. Refresh it. But see what I mean? See how strong that is? Like, yeah, I could build a whole bunch of towers. It doesn't matter though. Like, it's great. There we go. Boom. Now, if guys spawn here, these could get mauled. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to suck out these resources and run away because I don't need them. I'm going to leave some of these over here, I think, just so I at least have the option later. I don't need all these crystals. Like, whatever. Now those I don't necessarily want to rely on those walls in the top right corner, so I'll come back here later, but let's go ahead and get this guy mowed over. You know what, let's build a flamer. Just because I feel like it, or wait, no, not like that, like this. Body block it, body block it. I'm not worried about it because I have healing right here. Alright, yeah, let's, in the meantime, we'll start designing this. Okay, pick that up because now I'm done flaming. Whoop. Alright, suck all these up. I don't need the resources, I'm more so just doing it on principle, just so you can see what I mean, like sucking up stuff. I probably have more than enough resources. You can totally leave some stuff in the background, like... refresh it. Boom. Now, here's I was talking about this earlier. You can just totally run through the infection if you want to. Oops. If you need... Oh my god, stop. But yeah, you can totally do that if you need to. It's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and break one of these guys. So that's like all I need right there. And that's it. So we go like this, just to kill this infection. That's all I'm trying to do right now. And then if I lose those blocks, I don't care. Looks like I did. I'm not sure how much damage these guys do. Well, anyway, see if I can break this before nighttime. Looks like I probably can, huh? Also, let's break this real quick. If I can break it, it's over. Yay! So, do like that. Contain this real quick. Run to the top right. Make these defenses a little better. Again, these guys are a little bit scary because they'll prioritize my tower, so this will die over here probably. But the funny thing about that, like, here's what I was talking about earlier. Like, okay, I'm doing this, quickly turn it into a wall, it gets hit, and you're like, bam, release it, and then it goes back to attacking infection and keeping it back. So you can do stuff like that, like kind of panic, like change your tower type, and then change it back again. That's all you have to do. So there's little things like that. Those are, I would say that's more advanced tactics as far as like, when you start keeping stuff like that in mind, if you can remember to do it, it's very powerful, and you can totally negate a whole bunch of nasty things. You're like, boom, bam, just whatever section they're in, even though this is a duo tower, it doesn't matter. Oops, messed that up. It's like here, boom, there you go, then remove it. That's all you needed to do. So like, isn't that cool? You know what, let's bring some of these crystals over here. I don't really need these resources. Like, I'm gonna gather them just because I feel like it, but not necessary. Okay, so once again, try and destroy the spawners at night, or during the day, excuse me. Don't kill these. If I lose these, I don't care, but refresh it. Okay. You know what, let's go ahead and make a flamethrower down here. It's making me nervous. Okay, good times though. There we go. So I do have 20 seconds before the next wave starts, so I'm doing pretty good. Let's go ahead and... I'm kind of nervous about this. I just want to make sure that I can... Oops, push all this stuff down. There we go. Same thing here. There we go. Alright, now that's pretty darn contained. I'm worried about this guy right here, though. I'm pretty damaged right now. I'm hurt, so I'm kind of worried about dying real quick, just from these yellow guys. There's no blocks that I can heal off of. Right. Let that splash damage do some work. Go ahead and suck this up. So, like, right now, I have 107 resources. I'm not worried about my blocks, like, so. And, like, once you get to this point, too, if you have more than enough, blocks, there's no reason not to spend them. So, like, you know, like, yes, I was showing there was tricks to save your resources by turning a tower into a square wall. Like, that is true. Like, it's really smart to do. Both because, like, two reasons. One is you're not going to lose your defense, which because if those yellow guys, if they do end up being like boom, 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 and destroying 3 or 4 towers, like your defense is gone, and then they just keep going all the way to your core, and it's awful. So they can destroy your whole defense. It's so bad. But so that's one of the reasons why that's smart. But just so you know, like if you have more than enough resources, just make a bunch of walls and you're fine. You can just run away. Because if you have too many anyway, rather than sitting here trying to baby it all the time, if you're getting more, if you're not spending your resources fast enough, it doesn't matter if you lose. Yeah, and you know what I'm trying to say. If you have resources to spend, use them well. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of time. You've already accumulated more than enough to allow you to do some stuff like that. Okay, next one. Survive. So we just need 7 minutes to survive on this one. This guy is annoying. What it does is it will attack you only during the sleep phase, though, I believe. I think it only has 3 health, but it does have 2 armor, so you need some armor penetration to get through this. It doesn't do that much damage, but it's constant damage. So you can't really build close enough to where these guys are going to hit you, otherwise it's awful. So you can attack it during the sleep phase, though. Sleep, I think? I think it's sleep phase, and it attacks during night. But here we go. So this one we only have a very short sleep phase, so we either can try and kill these with gems if we want to, or we can just hold out for 7 minutes. So they're wanting us to hold out is what they're expecting, but if you're really, really aggressive with a lot of these missions, you can just totally destroy them before the time limit runs out. So I'm going to try and push forward. We'll see what happens. I don't really remember what this level is. Here we go. Okay, let's suck all these up. I'm not sure that I want, like... You know what? In fact, let's just restart. Check this out. So if you don't want these gems here, you can just break it, just so that it stops doing it. Because if you want them to build closer to the front, or you don't want to build those right now, or whatever you want to do. Okay, looks like there is a bunch of stuff. Let's do like this. I actually don't know what's going to happen. We might, you know, if they have some guys that have armor penetration, or yeah, armored guys, that could be pretty rough. Let's go ahead and do like this. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I think I have more than enough defenses already. It's fine. Make me a little bit nervous. Yeah. See, they broke my crystal. That was actually bad. I lost a lot of resources there. No, this is not ideal. Ideally, I wouldn't be rebuilding them like this at all. But if you need to, that's a good trick to not die. Yeah, that should be more than enough now. Now, a quick comment about this too is, you know how these towers have more range? So you totally should use that to your advantage. Like, if you are going to try and rely on low-tier towers are not great. Like, ideally, you would have just more high-tier towers like this. But if you're going to do that, then a quick comment is try to put long-range towers in the back, or like off to one side. Like, it's not a bad plan to, like, for example, have some close-range towers, or like flamers here towards the front, or do something like, say you do something like this. Like, that's pretty darn effective right there. Then you have longer towers. Again, you can use gems for that too. Oops, we're just holding out. Let's suck all these up. I'll start pushing forward here next time. 5 minutes. Oh yeah, by the way, you can see your mission objectives in the top right corner. So this one's just to survive. So sometimes with missions like you can just make a good defense and then just hold out and do whatever you want to do. So like, I think I'm fine. Like, notice that they're getting harder tier enemies. I need some, just have 10 health, so I need some good damage for this, otherwise I'm going to die. Looks like I killed them before he ever reached me, so it's fine. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and make like a couple more crystals. Oops. Keep doing that. There we go. Some more duos. Oops. Okay, sleep phase. So even though they're asleep like right now, so like these buildings aren't going to attack me, but I want to make sure I push back the infection and destroy these buildings as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do, to be super aggressive, is I'm going to build it right in front of them. And I'm going to hang out here to block with my body, so these blobs don't kill me. I don't even know what they're called. Kill them. Alright, do the same thing again. Kill it. Kill it. Yeah, okay, run away. These will probably die. So I got in the way of that shot so it didn't destroy my crystals, for example. Pick up some of these so they heal me. But notice that, like, see how far I pushed forward at just a single crystal? It's fine. And now I have all these over here. Like, I can do the same thing I was talking about before. There you go. Like, now I'm destroying them all here. Now, if some of those little bouncy bros show up, the little balls, Little slimes, those guys will kill me. Or they'll kill all these defenses, probably. I probably can't stop them with this defense right here. But, like, notice that I'm leaving my defense back here totally intact. I stole the crystal there, but it's, like, good enough, so I can just leave all that stuff. It's fine. I might actually just heal this real quick, just to be sure. I think it's fine, but just in case. Get ready for daytime is about to happen. And take a run for it. I'm waiting for it to actually happen because I don't want the building to attack me. Or, like, shoot at me. You know, I don't trust this. Let's just go over here in the meantime. Nope. Jerks. Okay. I wasted some resources there on purpose, but it's fine. Okay, so let's do like this. Temporarily start getting rid of that infection. If I can keep it back, then I'll be doing real good. Let's get rid of this. Quick, save my crystal. Great. That was awesome. Wow, I'm surprised that survived over there. It's really far forward. Okay, this will probably die here. But all these other ones, look at that though, dude. I mean, that's awesome. Like, what are they gonna do? And, like, look at my resources. I still am, like, in the 50s, which is where I've been, like, most of the time, so I'm totally fine. Now, I do only have 2 minutes to beat this, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit worried about this, like, see, they're attacking the guys, they're not attacking the infection. If I had crystals with them, then these probably wouldn't get infected. I think it's okay. The splash damage would make all the difference. Let's see if I can do that. See, because the splash damage will hit not just the target, but it will hit all these guys too. So if I had more crystals, which I can afford, I mean, let's go ahead and make another one. If I have 2 crystals, I'll do pretty good. Growth phase is about to end. Alright. I don't know why growth phase just sounds like gross to me. Or like, I don't know. Ugh, infection growth phase. Or yeah, growth phase. Sounds like pustules or something, which is the entire point, I'm sure, you know. But like, I don't know, it just sounds gross. Am I the only one? Am I crazy? It sounds gross to me. Okay. Again, going back to what I was saying before, if you have too many buildings or too much infection, I'm gonna let those die, like whatever, except for the crystal. I want to keep the crystal alive. 1 minute to survive. Let's go ahead and break these. I need some defenses facing this way. Otherwise they're going to break these towers. No! Oh, this is bad. I might lose my crystals. Nope, nope, nope. I don't think I'm going to make it in time. Or, I'm not going to kill their stuff in time. But you see this level's getting more and more intense. I tried, though. I got pretty far. But just a quick comment about this, too. Just know that, like, the fact that I killed a lot of these buildings did prevent a lot of stuff from spawning. Most of these spawns are coming from these big ones, though. Here's the biggest thing. Like, if I can kill this... In fact... Yeah, if I can kill this, then I'll stop most of these spawns from coming at all. So, like, that's a quick note about, like, how to survive in this game. Or, like, yeah. Prioritizing that is a huge thing that'll help you survive. So, like, there, I stopped their spawner. It's too late now to win, but you get the idea. I could have done that a little cleaner and stuff too, and if I had prepped a little better, like what I could have been doing too is I could have moved this forward as well. There's not particularly a reason to. Also, I might have gone like way overkill with this. Like probably what would have been smart is like, you know, like if I had 2 rows of duo 2s, then I could just be like boom boom, and I could just, and then the next phase I put them like up here, and then suck all these up and move these crystals forward. I could just keep like hopping my way forward, and I would probably destroy everything with just that. So like you could just make this corridor right here where it's just like, because one of the problems I was running into is the fact that the infection kept spreading along the middle here. Part of that was because these didn't have enough splash. If I had given these guys some crystals, even just a single one, like, you know, just a tier, well, tier 2 is I guess technically what they call it. Tier 1 with a crystal, you know? Then that would have done enough splash damage. I probably would have killed most of this stuff and it would have been fine. All right. Next one, so the grinder. So this is a new type of tower. I used to like these guys a lot when I first played this game. I thought this was super cool. I'm not sure how good it is anymore because, like the previous tower, Like, look what this does. This does 2 times 4, so it does, but each one does, I'm pretty sure these guys do, I think it's 2 damage a piece or something. It's the same as tier 1, I'm pretty sure. Where does it show it? Yeah, damage 3. It does 3 damage. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same thing as this. It just does 2 of them, and it does a volley of 2 for each one. So you're doing 4 of these. They do 3 damage a piece. Anyway, I think that this guy is way better. I think. Just overall. It's slower, but it does more damage. I think these guys are... oops. Which one are we on? This guy. I think this one does more total shots, but each one does less damage. And it doesn't do splash anymore, I think. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does. It does 1 splash, though, instead of 2. Well, still says armor penetration. I don't know. I think it does less damage, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. It's a bigger flurry, though. Just 3 shots at a time for each. Cooldown is 1.7. It is a faster cooldown. Range is 16, though. It has more range. I don't know. Whatever. You'll see. There's the next tower of plasma is better, though. Whatever. Okay, these are pretty cool regardless. These are kind of cool. One of the cool things about them is, again, note the range. So if you have these, also note that the range, the tower starts at the front, right? So if you have like this, and then you have like, say, flamers right in front of it, then you have a close range tower that's really good, and then you have like walls in front of that. Also, these are really cool diagonally as well. So if you have, because their range is so high, like you can have some of the other ones, the tier 2 duos, and be like, say 2 rows of this, and then you have these ones going, I like to call these machine gun towers or whatever, but have these diagonally, so they're like, makes a killing field right in the middle. But pretty cool. Okay, so get these. No. Is there? I want to say. You know something? I'm going to explore real quick. Maybe I'll redo this mission. I just want to explore real quick and just assess my situation. Wasn't there... Never mind. I was confusing this with a different mission. I thought there was a little bit of infection in the corner, so I was like, don't I need to kill these real quick? There's a little bit of blocks. I don't know that it matters right now. Low priority. Anyways, let's go ahead and go over here real quick. Stop. Okay, what I'm going to do is move these a little bit farther forward, and we'll get ready to... make these defenses nasty. So that's probably good enough. And what we can do is just go like this. Get ready. Boom. Okay. While we're waiting for a minute to get all these, go ahead and place these ahead of time. This is kind of expensive, like resource-wise, but then we don't have to worry about it. I like to get it out of the way so I don't forget, because it just, I feel like I'm going to otherwise. It's so annoying to be like, playing for a while and then you're like, oh no, this is capped and I forgot to do it, so I like to get it out of the way. Sleep phase is actually like pretty long right now. You know what, let's just move these forward. Like that. There we go. Making me a little bit nervous there. That's pretty good. Nah, it's bad shape. There we go. That's pretty good. It gets really confusing when you get them like all squished together like that, but it is really effective though. Yeah, like that. There you go. Okay, so like this is one shape, boom, 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 and then this is even though it's like touching this tower, it's in part of another shape, and this is part of the tower right in front of it. It's weird, but if one of them breaks, it can just like totally mess up the whole thing. So just be careful with this, but you can totally do stuff like this and it's fine. Okay, let's see here. Sleep phase is done. Get another crystal going. And what I'll do is I'll probably just go like this. Need using the health of this to keep me alive. Whatever, life is good. Kill the towers. Life is good. Oops. There we go. That's good enough. So then these will kill all that. This will kill all these. Oops. There we go. That'll kill all that. Let's go ahead and heal it real quick. Boom. We'll put this back here temporarily. I want to get this moving forward though. So like, let's do something like that. And most of the stuff's going to be dead now because I killed a lot of the spawners. Like, boom. There you go. There you go. There you go. Quick, run. That was not in time. Oh, in fact, I'm out of blocks. Quick, run. Whew, I'm out of blocks. Quick, stop the infection there in the bottom right corner. There we go. I win, probably. Right now? Yeah. Alright, so I don't know if you saw that. This infection was spreading because it was growth phase and it was getting over here. Gonna touch that, so I quickly built these towers to the side. And I made it a duo just to make sure they shot right here, like really as soon as possible. I had a single and then I was like, I thought better of it and I came back and added more to it. But you get the idea. So like, that was pretty effective. I noticed too what I did is I just killed these in one single sleep phase and then I panicked and moved my stuff forward. If I had grabbed, I don't know, and I had more resources back here, I could have gobbled these up, but I had these here as a secondary defense in case this fell. I didn't want to break this entirely. Also, because I had some towers here, I could have, like this one's still facing the corner, for example, I could have turned it around, and this would have made a funnel to kill stuff as it's going this way. But yeah, crystals are amazing. I feel like if I have more than 2 crystals, it's kind of hard to manage, though, as far as being offensive. But you see how, like, just getting real close to them and throwing a single tier 2 tower is like more than you need for most of the game. It's like really strong. All right, so this next level can be fairly challenging. I think what I'll do though is it can be a long explanation. So I think I'll start the next video with that. So this is a good place to end this one. But yeah, this game's a lot of fun and it's really cool. If you want to see more of this, just check out the playlist on my channel and I'll have them all there in one spot. I don't want each video to go too much longer than an hour, so we'll end this one here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and found it helpful, be sure to throw a like on it, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content just like this. Remember to stay awesome, have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.